Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm giving you 5 different ways to cook potatoes. Alright, if you're new here, my name is Claire. My channel is all about mom stuff, lady stuff, and life stuff, so definitely hit that subscribe button down below. I would love to have you. If you're not new here, then you might already know how much I love potatoes. They are such an incredibly cheap food to buy and super versatile. I find myself very often in a rut where I eat the same type of potato every day, which is a baked potato. I pop one in the microwave for 7 minutes and I put whatever toppings on it and I eat it all the time. Another way I like to eat potatoes are obviously mashed potatoes. I think those are the 2 types of potatoes most people think of when they're making sides for their family. But I thought I would make this video to show you 5 other ways to make potatoes that do not include a baked potato or mashed potatoes. Seriously, a 10-pound sack of potatoes at Aldi cost me only $2.39, which is crazy. So yeah, let's get into this video and hopefully I can inspire you to spice up your spuds. Oh yes, I did say that. Alright, my first recipe is the perfect side dish to anything you're serving. It seriously goes with anything and everyone in the family likes this one. I've got 5 russet potatoes that I have washed and dried, and now I'm just going to chop them up into these nice little cubes. And actually, this recipe is on the back of an onion soup mix packet, and it's very simple, but if you don't buy onion soup mix ever, then like you wouldn't know this was a thing. And all you do is pour a little bit of olive oil on there, and then you add your pack of onion soup mix. And I don't know all the things that are in an onion soup mix, but like it's the perfect combination with a potato. And you just mix that all up. It could not be easier. You're going to want to throw this in your oven, preheated at 425 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. It kind of depends on like how big your chunks are. But it really doesn't take very long, and you can definitely cook the rest of your meal like while that's baking in the oven. And it smells so delicious, and the kids really love it, and it's very like home fry style. And yeah, it's really, really good, you guys. I will leave all the instructions for all of these recipes in the description down below so that you don't have to try to remember how long and what the temperature was. Even though most of these recipes are very, very simple, I will leave all the instructions for you. My next recipe is a super easy potato casserole. I have 7 russet potatoes, some sour cream, some cream of mushroom soup, and this block of cheddar cheese. And I am going to actually peel all of these. I want my consistency to be a little bit smoother for this recipe, but I am going to be saving all of my peels, and you'll see why later. But go ahead and peel all these potatoes. It's one of my least favorite things to do, but it's worth it in this case. I am going to cut these like I did in the last recipe, but maybe just like a tad bit smaller so that they cook like pretty quickly. Again, it just kind of depends on when you take a bite of casserole, how big do you want your pieces to be? I find that these like little cubes are pretty much perfect. So I'm gonna throw those in a 9x13 pan, and I'm going to shred half of my block of cheddar cheese on there, and I'm gonna save the other half for the end. And I'm just gonna try to mix all of that together and kind of disperse the cheese. I like to disperse each thing as I add it so that it's not real chunky in the end. I'm gonna add both of my cans of cream of mushroom soup. You could use cream of potato soup, you could use cream of celery, cream of chicken, just a cream of something soup. I just chose this one because that's what Aldi had, and I'm just gonna mix both those cans in with all my potatoes. Then I'm going to add half of this container of sour cream, which is about 8 ounces or 1 cup of sour cream. Now I'm going to go ahead and shred the rest of my block of cheddar cheese. You can totally use pre-shredded cheese, but I think that it melts a lot better when you do it right off the block. Next, I am going to cover it with tin foil and I'm going to pop it in my oven. It is preheated to 350 degrees and I'm going to put that in there for half an hour. After the half an hour is done, I am going to take the foil off, kind of like how you cook lasagna or anything that's got cheese on top so that you get like a nice melty layer. And I'm actually going to put that in there for another half an hour. So this one takes like kind of a long time, an hour to cook, but you can definitely set it and forget it and go do something, or you can make it ahead of time. It will be piping hot when you take it out of the oven. So I like to let mine set for like 5 or 10 minutes before serving it to your family. You don't want to burn their mouths off. But this makes a ton of servings and it's like so rich and creamy. This is definitely not low in calories. And I find that those little like mushroom bits add a great bit of texture to an otherwise mushy consistency. Now, my next recipe for you guys is super simple and it's something I do all the time. Anytime I make something where I'm peeling potatoes, I always save my skins, and then after everybody goes to bed and I'm in snack mode, I cover them with just a little teeny bit of olive oil. I mix them all up and I spread them on my cooking stone, and like it's just like such a delicious like weird thing to do with a scrap, because like obviously this is something you'd be totally throwing away, but you don't need to. You can totally eat every bit of that potato. And I just try to spread them out the best that I can, and then I just put a little bit of salt on there, and that is all you need. I'm gonna pop it into a 400-degree oven for about 15 minutes, and you can really see them getting all crispy and delicious. And this method is way better for you than like regular bags of potato chips. Plus, it's like basically free because these are table scraps. These are foods you would be throwing away, and you have now repurposed them into an amazing nighttime treat. This is something that I would sit and eat while I'm watching Netflix. I'll make a bowl for my husband and I. Sometimes it'll be like on a charcuterie style board with some other foods, but it's one of my favorites. My next recipe is classic French fries, but I have discovered the best French fry hack in the world. I can't believe I didn't know about it earlier. So I'm just going to cut my potatoes into strips. I like to leave the skins on for my French fries. And actually, I got this idea from another YouTuber. Her name is Caitlin Shoemaker. She's a vegan. Her whole channel is about vegan living, and she has amazing recipes and cookbooks, and I will link her channel down below because I got this from her, and her secret is the silicone baking mat. Mine has been very well loved, but I got this one at Aldi. You can get them on Amazon. I'll link one down below. They're totally cheap, and they make everything crispy that you put on them. So you don't need any oil of any kind for these French fries. You can just put the potatoes on there and they will become crispy. Like, I can't believe I've made fries any other way in my life. Like, you need a silicone baking mat. And what I like about this is I change it every time I make these, depending on what I'm in the mood for. So I usually start with salt, and then tonight I'm doing garlic powder and chili powder as my toppings, but sometimes I do like curry French fries are really good, but any spices that you're in the mood for, just throw them on those potatoes, man, they're so good. Now you're gonna put these in the oven at 425 degrees, and they're gonna take 35 to 40 minutes. And when they're out, you don't have to flip them, you don't have to watch them, nothing. They just get crispy. Like, you gotta get a baking mat, man. So this is also one of my go-to snacks in the evening time while I'm like watching Netflix and hanging out with my husband. Tonight I'm just having them with ketchup, and my kids will eat these French fries too, so that's also a good way for them to get in something that they might think is junk food, but is actually just a potato. My last recipe is for a potato waffle. Now you will need some mashed potatoes to start this recipe off. This is great if you have leftover mashed potatoes from the night before. I'm actually just gonna whip up some mashed potatoes in my Instant Pot. They are very easy to make this way, but you can make them the traditional way by boiling your potatoes on the stove until they are nice and soft. I like to leave the skins on my potatoes for my mashed potatoes. I like that little added bit of texture. I'm also just making them how I would normally make mashed potatoes. So a little bit of butter, a little bit of salt. I'm also throwing in some pepper, some garlic powder, and some milk just to get it to the consistency I want. But you can make your mashed potatoes any way you want. You can even use like a packet of mashed potato mix. You don't even need to use real potatoes if you don't want to, but it's just very easy to do for me in my Instant Pot, and I like to use my immersion blender to make it really smooth. Now I am going to add some flour. You kind of just add it until it like starts being a little bit dough-like because you don't ever have the same exact amount of potatoes each time. This time for that many potatoes, I needed about 1.5 cups of flour. I also put in a couple of eggs, and this is how your potatoes should look. And now I'm just gonna put them in a waffle maker, and you could add other things to your batter. You could put cheese in there, you could put onions in there, you could put bacon in there, you could make it sweet or savory. This is really a blank canvas, but because I don't eat meat and my husband does, we are just going to make them plain and put whatever toppings we want on top. And do keep in mind that this takes about twice as long as a regular waffle does, so a little bit more time. But I'm just gonna top this one with a dollop of sour cream, a little bit of cheese, and some green onions. And this one, of course, is like savory and delicious, and you can really like make every member of the family happy with this one because you can really customize them. You could have this for breakfast with your leftover taters from the night before. You could also make this for dinner, which is what I did later this night. Alright you guys, that's it for this video. I hope you found it useful. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite recipe was today. Of course, come back for more mom stuff, lady stuff, and life stuff. I post new videos every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. I would love to have you, so hit that subscribe button and come on back, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!